Hey everybody, how you doing today? It's Coach Alvarez here. It's Monday, April 3rd, 2017. Um, just wanted to get this video out to you. You know, every time I come across a couple things that I hear, whether it's in the academy or maybe I'm watching something with the sports or just something that's kind of similar stories and in the close proximity to each other. I'll kind of use that to kind of touch on a few subjects. Well, today, I've heard, not actually today, but just recently, I had a student, that hasn't really been coming to class, kind of tell me he's kind of frustrated with, a couple things and wants to take some time off and whatever from the mats. And then I heard today that another student was telling me that one of their teammates told them that they're kind of hitting a plateau, thinking about they're kind of struggling on the mat, thinking about taking some time off. Maybe that's what they need, and I wanted to kind of share the story with from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's the story of 3 feet from gold. You can Google it. You can read the story like in its entirety. But in a nutshell, you had this guy that during the gold rush days, was looking for this gold, and he was doing okay for himself. But then he came across some struggles and needed this particular machinery to finish digging. But then it broke down on him, and so he got so frustrated that he ended up selling the machine to some junk man, I guess. Try to get some type of money back from it. And the guy that bought the machine hired an engineer and kind of mapped out where they were digging and realized that they were really, really close to what they were looking for, and they were just a matter of just like 3 feet away. So the guy took the machine, fixed it up, like went down there, dug wherever he had to dig, and then hit the jackpot, became a millionaire, and that's all she wrote. The other guy obviously heard about that and realized, like, man, he'll never ever give up on something again, because that's a costly mistake that he made by giving up. So it happens. But just like that story, just like a story on the mat, I can't really relate to giving up, and I can definitely relate to the plateaus on the mat, like absolutely. I mean, I've hit so many of those. I've been training almost 20 years, but to actually say that I wanted to like quit, take time off, and I don't think jiu-jitsu is good for me right now, I think I'm gonna give it a break. I've never had that even thought cross my mind whatsoever. I've been training almost 20 years, and just you know, I'm still hungry for the knowledge and to be on the mats just like I was when I first started. Um, so, but in other things in life, yeah, I've probably worked hard at some other things, and in reference came 3 feet from the gold, and definitely went the other way. Found this picture that's in reference to the book. Um, I'll share this with you real quick. So you got this image and what I was talking to. So you got the guy here with the pick, and he's already heading back the other way. But look how close he is. I mean, like, he's right there, right on the edge, man, of breaking through, getting all that gold, man, becoming a millionaire. And, he's heading back, going to sell everything, sells it to this guy. This guy gets the engineer, and he's like, yeah, man, it's just right there. And he's just like, boom. And that's all she wrote. So on the bottom of this, it says, you never know how close you are. Never give up on your dreams. So, in reference to the jiu-jitsu and what I've heard from one student saying, they're frustrated with some things and they need time off. And then hearing again today in the locker room, somebody telling me that one of their teammates was kind of saying the same thing. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what else? Who else out there is kind of feeling this way, struggling? Maybe some of the rounds aren't going their way. Maybe they're getting tapped kind of more than normal. Maybe their favorite sweep isn't working anymore. Their guard pass isn't working anymore. People are just tougher to submit on the mat. Like, pick a problem with jiu-jitsu. Like, there's tons of them. That's part of the training. Like, you're being tested all the time. So just like right now, when your mind is kind of a little weak and you're talking about giving up and quitting and taking that break, like, you're being tested. Like that, like, you're probably that close from either a couple questions being asked, or just a couple more weeks of hanging in there, or what have you. But you'll never get to that point if you just say, I'm gonna take a break, because there really is no break. Like, you don't really take a break from jiu-jitsu. You quit on jiu-jitsu. Like that's anything. Like, if you're gonna take a break from something, you're quitting. A break is like just another word for quitting. Like, because you're not doing it anymore. You're quitting. Like, you're gonna stop what you're doing, and you're gonna go do something else. You're not gonna come to class. You're not gonna train. You're not gonna drill, and you're quitting. Okay, and then you're gonna come back to it later. So that's what you're doing. So when your mind gets weak like that, you need to hang in there, and because other people are watching you too. Other people are listening. Other people know when you're coming to class and when you're not coming to class. And so you have to make sure that you're kind of staying mentally tough in there and hanging in there. And again, a lot of it too probably just comes down to asking some questions. Today, I must have stayed almost an hour with like 4 or 5 students after class, because one student asked a question which led into all these other things, and we were just on the mat just sharing. I was just sharing information, so they made out because they stuck around, and and it just took one question, and that just opens up other things for you. So a lot of times we want things right now, right at this moment, whether it be a belt, whether it be taking a gold at this tournament that you entered and didn't get, whatever. Sometimes it's not going to work out that way for you, and that's just life. Like, pick a different scenario in life that you wanted something right now, and you just didn't get it right at that moment because you just weren't ready for it yet. In time, it'll come back to you, and you can have it. But at that particular moment, you couldn't have it because you needed to put in some more work, job, school, like whatever. So same thing with this. You can't focus on a different belt color, being promoted or being like somebody else, or winning a specific tournament. It's such a long journey, man. Like I said, I think I've always kind of hung in there with jiu-jitsu and never got tired of it, because I just love training. Like just training, period. Like, just getting an opportunity to train on the mat, and you take out the belts and the tournaments and everything else, and just the love for jiu-jitsu and training has always just kept me on the mat, because out of all these years, almost 20 years, I just never had that desire to quit, to take a break. Again, knee surgery, shoulder separation, whatever little injuries took me off the mat, but that was because of the injuries that I had to take a break and let my body rest up, but never because my mind got weak and I wanted to quit and take a break. So if that's you, focus less on these other things and just focus on the love of the training. And if it's really that painful for you and that hurtful for you to train, then maybe it is time for you to hang it up, if you're not really in love with the jiu-jitsu and the training anymore. But if you take outside of these things that you're probably chasing and just focus on the love of the training and being on the mat with your teammates every day and getting those rounds in and that sweat and how you feel afterwards, then you definitely need to not take a break. Like, you need to come back to training. You need to get back on the mat ASAP, or change your mindset so you don't take that break, and keep it going. So anyways, you're going to hit these plateaus, these things throughout your entire process of jiu-jitsu. Like, it's never ending. I don't know how many of those I've hit, but I've never wanted to take time off the mat. Like, I need to be on the mat. The mat gives me what I need to go through my day and handle everything else that's going on. I'll give you another example. You know, big ups and props to Mr. Jerry Granados, because you know, his brother, and again, condolences out to you, Mr. Jerry, and your whole entire family. You know, his older brother just passed away the other day, and he still came in and trained. Not only that, he still came in and trained, like when he got the news that his brother wasn't doing well and that his brother might pass, but Saturday, this past Saturday, the first, the day of the funeral, he actually came in and did our competition class at 8 a.m. till 9:30, and then left and then went to the funeral services for his brother. I mean, like, that's some powerful stuff, man. Like, that's like super deep. Like, man, that takes a lot to do that, you know. So again, condolences out to you, Mr. Jerry, if you're watching this video. But to anybody else out there, man, like, think about that for a minute, man. I mean, this guy, like, it's his older brother. It's his oldest brother. And during the process of him losing his brother, and then hearing that he's going to lose his brother, then loses him, and he still made his way to the mat because of he needs to stay on course and help him stay on track. And that's what jiu-jitsu and our teammates, his teammates in this academy at Alvarez BJJ, does for him. It helps him with that, to keep his mind intact during these horrible times. You know, like, it's painful. You know, I just lost a friend a couple months ago. It's painful for me, but painful to see what his family went through, and what they're still going through. But I still trained. I still got my running. I still got my workouts in, because that's just what helped me just be able to breathe. Because when those things happened, I didn't feel like I could breathe. I felt like something was sitting on my chest, and it was the only thing that helped me. It was my oxygen mask. Like, it's just what it is, and that's what jiu-jitsu is for me. Again, if that's not what it is for you, then find something that's going to be like that for you. But for me, and I know a lot of people, that's what this thing is. That's what this thing is. So, anyways, don't take your mask off. Keep the mask on, man. Keep breathing. Let jiu-jitsu help you with whatever it is. It is tough. It is a struggle. It has its bad days and its good days. Some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail. And again, I heard, like, somebody put it to me one day, some days you're the board, man. You're just getting smashed all the way, and it's just horrible. But you're training. Bottom line, you're training. You're on the mat. You're sweating. You're hanging out with good people. Man, life is good, man. You know, even when it seems like it's rough out there, you know. So, anyways, catch you guys next time. Don't quit. Bye.